Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Friday the 27th of May 2022. Thanks for joining me. I've got another new deck that I want to use. I've got the Keymaster Tarot here. So I'm just going to open the cards and shuffle them a few times. And then I'm going to choose 3 or 4 of these. I'll see how it feels. And check what the cards want you to be aware of here on Friday. So I just want to show you some of these cards as well, because I don't actually know what these look like. I always liked borders like this with like gold and silver. I really like that. Okay, so this is like, we've got the major arcana, beautifully drawn here. But then we have these cards, and they're kind of like playing cards. So we got spades, which I would assume is swords. Yes. Oh, it even says, okay. Then we have diamonds, which is coins. Oh, that's useful. That actually is useful, that they say which one of these suits. Then clubs is ones, and finally hearts is going to be cups. Okay, great. So let's have a look at what these cards have to say about Friday and what the day's energy is all about. So I'm just going to have to shuffle these a few times because it's my first time using them. Okay, this is taking a while. Let's see. Okay. So the first card is here. We've got the 8 of clubs. So we've got the 8 of wands. I might double check that actually to make sure I've got these right. Diamonds with pentacles. Yeah, that's right. So 8 of wands. Ooh. The sun. That's been coming up a lot lately, the sun. Then we've got the 5 of cups. Okay. Finally, the 4 of diamonds, which is the 4 of pentacles. Okay. This is going to force me to use my, try and get my, what are they called? I don't even know, my grey brain cells going. Okay. So the 8 of wands, that usually shows 8 wands coming into the screen, and that's news. The sun is a major arcana card that says you're happy and you're in control, you're living your best life. The 5 of cups is emotional freedom and the kind of love where you're being selfless, and it's an equal partnership and you get what you give. So that's really positive. And then the 5 of pentacles. The 5 of pentacles is about tough times and rejection, and it usually shows 2 people kind of being kicked out of church. Okay, so we've got a bit of a mixed bag here. So first of all, the 8 of wands. Wands is in the suit of fire, so it has to do with your life purpose and what you're interested in. So there will be news about some sort of activity or some sort of plan that you've had for your life, for your future. And now suddenly you're able to do something in that area. And it feels very positive. You feel like you're finally on the right track. And you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of guitar strings. So especially if you are pursuing something that's creative, you know, like my life purpose is to be an artist, a musician, a writer, a performer, someone who designs, a florist, anything like that. There's the real potential to learn something new and also to get your foot in the door. So maybe there's, you know, you want to train as a florist and there's a local florist around, and you go ask if they need anybody, and they say, well, actually, we need someone to, I don't know, cut the stems off the roses or something. So that may be your foot in the door, and then as you do a good job there, it might grow into something new. The 5 of cups then is about, this is important to look into because the cards are saying this is something that genuinely is aligned with your life purpose, and if you find this opportunity and jump on it, you'll be able to do something in future that you genuinely love and adore. And it's freedom from hardship, not just in a sense of, oh, I have to get up again and go to work. I'm so bored. I hate this job. Freedom from that kind of vibe because you actually like what you're doing. And then also freedom from financial insecurity to a certain extent, because the card is saying that this new passion that comes into your life that you can engage with, it's actually going to create more security in your life. If you use it in work, it'll create more, it'll create an extra income. If it's something you do in your spare time as a hobby, it's something that makes you feel more grounded in yourself, like you're expressing something meaningful and you're getting it out and you're giving it some sort of a format which exists outside of yourself. So there's a sense of contentment that, hey, I'm getting my point across and I'm not worried about rejection or tough times. The important thing is to translate something that exists in my mind's eye that I love and care about, and to give that some sort of tangible life. So whether I'm on top of the world or whether I'm no longer even here or whether I'm having a tough time, my ideas exist somewhere in their own right. So that's very interesting to me because it's not just, oh, you can be creative for the sake of it, and isn't it nice to play your own special song and to write your own little play? Yes, that's a great opportunity and it can be enjoyable and it can make you feel good about yourself, but also it's something that you genuinely love and something that structures your life in the sense that you're creating something that's valuable and meaningful that other people need to hear. So it's not just about personal pleasure, it's about educating other people, it's about being part of the human family and saying, I have been on this planet, I don't know, 20 or 40 or 60 or whatever years, and I've got my own perspective on that, and I want to share that with other people so maybe they can avoid making the mistakes I made, or maybe I've tapped into the secret of life here and this is it, and if you follow these steps, then you can have a fabulous experience as well. So if you find yourself creating, and if you find yourself talking and you're like, where's this coming from? Pay attention. It's something that reflects your expertise, and something that you feel to be true and important and good is going to exist inherently within that creative output. It's important. Pay attention. Do as much as you can with it. These are the outcomes, that you're actually in love with what you're doing. And I mean, we all long for that and look for that. And we have freedom from the worst fears in life. Oh, you know, like I'm working, I don't like the job that I'm in, but I get paid so little that I'm like 1 month away from losing my rented apartment. So I don't really have much choice. You know, it's freedom from that kind of fear and survival mode and making choices because you're under duress and under pressure. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else here that the cards are trying to say. These clubs here, it seems, you know, the Eight of Wands, fire, it's usually very red and orange, and there's a lot of movement here. The clubs seem to me much more about kind of royalty, aristocracy for some reason, something that's elevated, like maybe the design seems quite regal to me. And then with this music, it's like being able to create something that rises above the mediocre, something that stands out because it is so exceptional. I suppose like the sun certainly stands out. It lights up all the other planets, and if it weren't for the sun, then the other planets wouldn't really matter. So what I'm getting here is that something is working its way through you that's as important in your life as the sun is in your physical life. So this is something that is a true reflection and expression of who you are as a person. It will create momentum and freedom in your life. That's what these horses are about. And it's also that this is something that's given to you. It's kind of like this ray of sun enveloping this woman. It's kind of an inspiration that's working its way through you. So in fact, you're the instrument, not the guitar or the cymbals or the flute or whatever it may be. So then here, this reminds me of like a royal labyrinth again, really beautiful. So trying to figure out where to belong and what you're supposed to be doing that other people are going to like, doing other people's thinking for them and saying, okay, they like this kind of thing. They like comedy. So let me write this stuff because they like that one. So they'll like this in future. I think that kind of thinking is what Hollywood is based on, like in the 90s, we had a, film about the Titanic, which was hugely successful. For the next 10 years, let's just make more films about boats that sink. It worked once, so it should work again. No, so you don't need to figure out what other people like and work your way through the labyrinth. You're able to focus on what you love and enjoy, and that will bring people to you. So it's a different approach. And then finally, the Five of Pentacles here. Just because things haven't worked out in the past doesn't mean that they aren't going to work out in the future. Things aren't always symmetrical and don't always repeat themselves exactly the same way. So if anything, if you've done this kind of stuff in the past and it hasn't worked out, you didn't get a record deal or you did get fired from the job, in fact, that actually means that it's much less likely that the future job is going to fire you because you've already been here. So why would this be exactly the same? So the cards are encouraging you and saying that you have a special gift here. And let's say you're not creative at all. Then, and let's say you're an engineer. It's the same thing, right? Like something inspires you to understand or to come up with an engineering formula. I'm sorry, I don't know much about engineering. I hope you guys use formulas. You come up with a formula that you then write down and express and work into something. You love doing it. And it's such a success that you are now the #1 engineer who came up with this new amazing concept, and ta-da. So it's not just for creative types. It can be for anything that you feel you're good at, that you have a passion for. You're able to elevate it and take it to the next level. So you're going to be the expert in any field. I used to use this example a lot, but when it comes to work and finding your niche, right, the more specific you get, the better. Because if that specific job doesn't exist, then you can create it. At least you know that that's what you want to do. If you have an interest in shoes from the 1800s in Paris, and you train yourself on that, every time they make a historical program about French fashion from the 1800s, they're going to call you and say, can you be on our little documentary and give us your take on it? Before there was an expert in 1800 century shoes or whatever, they wouldn't have anyone to call. You see? So it's really important that sometimes you do create something that doesn't exist in its own right. And it doesn't matter how obscure or eccentric or unmainstream you think it is. 5 and 5 is 10. And what's this? 19? 19 and 10 is 29. And 8 is 37. 3 and 7 is 10, that's 1. Let me double check. So we've got 19 and, what's this, 10? No. 19 and 8 is 27, and 10 is 37. 3 and 7 is 10. That reduces to 1 in numerology. 1 is about taking the initiative, working on your own, being independent, being someone who's in charge or a boss or a performer. So if you're a creative type, you want to express something, amazing. The cards are taking it to another level now, and they're also saying if you're a performer or a leader, particularly, so if you're running a company or if you're running your own business, inspiration on how you can lead in a way that you love, that reduces insecurity, financial, employment, or otherwise. So make it happen. You're in charge. You're the boss. So I hope you have a great day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, just scroll down a little bit until you get to the Book Your Readings button. Click on that button to order your reading with me, your personal reading. And in my private readings, I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology. I can draw up your birth chart by taking your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. And once I have that snapshot of the sky, I can see a lot about you specifically. So what sign your sun is in, your moon is in, your rising, your descendant, your midheaven. And that tells me a lot about your life purpose, your vocational aptitudes, your talents, your challenges that you need to work on or can work on if you want to, what's coming up in future, relationships, finances, anything at all really. So if you do have any questions, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.